Hello, I'm Nelson Williams for GameOgre.com. Close your eyes and imagine for a moment that you're walking down the sidewalk thinking about Castlevania. Self, you'd say? I really like Castlevania, but do you know what would make it better? If it was a multiplayer MMO with 4 characters, tons of quests, time challenges, item crafting, leveling up, a Devil May Cry combo system complete with style ranks, and so anime gothic that the bats on its boxers eat Pocky. Then, with these blissful thoughts in your head, you'd wander into the street and get hit by a taxi. But while medical science knits your spine back together, you could play Rusty Hearts. The name Rusty Hearts refers to the dark corruption of evil that turns a good person into a monster, which is appropriate enough since the characters you play weren't merely touched by evil, they were molested by evil's cold, sweaty hand in the back of a van. You can play as one of 4 characters: the anime almost vampire holding back his transformation, the anime witch who sold her soul to a demon sword, the anime almost werewolf hiding his bestial bits under an armored glove, or the anime gun bunny with the huge boobs of evil. The game takes place in a quaint 18th century hamlet that might as well be named Burg, set right on the corner of Transylvania in Japan. You're tasked with scouting and clearing out a castle that's been taken over by the big bad, one Vlad the Vampire. You know Vlad is in the castle because death has been spotted hovering around inside, and apparently the head honcho never goes anywhere without his skeletal heterosexual life partner. Did I mention Castlevania yet? The setting is really just a thin excuse to get you into the castle, which is a set of mini-levels hooked together by a common theme. It's here that the game drops all pretenses and transforms into a side-scrolling beat-em-up like Double Dragon or Golden Axe, only with special attacks and combo moves torn bloodily like a still-beating heart from Devil May Cry's chest. You're even ranked on style points, and given a rating from Ultra Suck to Triple S that unlocks harder versions of the level you just slaughtered your way through. The characters themselves level up through experience, which is a shocking surprise, and earn new powers and abilities. These powers tend to revolve around the character's expected role, defining their combat style and setting up new ways to brutalize helpless skeletons. For example, you can buy a power that throws baddies up into the air where you can jump up and finish the job with a mid-air slow-motion bitch slap of murder. Every character has their own fighting style and area of expertise. The vampire is good for close-in physical combat with a sword or a giant axe. The witch casts spells from range. The werewolf runs up and soaks incoming damage with his face. And the gun bunny obliterates everything, everywhere, forever. The levels in Rusty Hearts change slightly as you go up in difficulty, restocking with different monsters and more of them, which is good because the missions will send you back to the same level so often you'll be chatting with the skeletons about the wife and kids while you punch a sword through their ribcage. Like many fantasy towns, Bloodburg runs on a monster-fueled economy, and every shopkeep and chimney sweep across the land will send you into the castle after some rare chunk of monster or another, up to, and I am not kidding or exaggerating, their frilly little skirts. In fact, the NPCs scattered around Bloodburg are frustrating and insane. Rusty Hearts takes a page from all the Castlevania games, including Simon's Quest. You know, the one where the NPCs are all useless juice bags who exist only to lie to you. There's a good chance that anything an NPC tells you is a flight of fancy spun by the Absinthe Fairy, and half the time when you bring back some quest items still dripping with the blood of violated stilt midget, the NPC won't even want the thing anymore. It happens often enough that the characters conspire to beat some sense into the NPCs, which just hangs a lampshade over the whole affair and tells me 2 things. The developers knew how frustrating this sort of thing is, and they designed it into the game anyway. Game developers, here's a tip. If you don't fill your games with frustrating jerkery, then I won't have to send an angry German nun over to smash your hands with a spiked ruler. Crushing the developers' manipulative appendages is only fair, because the control scheme for Rusty Hearts is designed to render you a cripple for life. In 27 years of gaming, I haven't come across a keyboard setup so atrocious, which is especially amazing for a game based on fast arcade action and precision combos. Sure, you could play with a gamepad, but doing so shouldn't be a requirement for keeping your fingers from snapping off after a level. You can remap the keys, and oh yes, you will, but the sheer abhorrent scale of the badness involved reads less like a developer oversight and more like a hate letter from that ex-girlfriend who killed your cat. Oversight is perhaps a good word for the crafting system as well. You can melt down unwanted items for raw materials used to build nifty, neat weapons and armors, with good bonuses and unique looks, which is cool beans. Unfortunately, crafting also usually requires a rare item or two with a drop rate somewhere between no and screw you, So by the time you've gutted, pillaged, and looted all the necessary items for that vibrating beatstick +1, you've probably leveled straight past it, and now every shop on the street sells the super vibrating beatstick +3 for pocket change. This leaves you with a stack of useless monster bits and no good way to get rid of them except slicing open the NPC who wanted all that inventory debris in the first place and stuffing it into his gaping thoracic cavity. On the other hand, the drop rate for useless junk like cooking ingredients and petty upgrade baubles isn't just rather high. It developed a commercial space program, trained as an astronaut, and launched on a pillar of flame straight into the starry deep of the infinite heavens. You'll spend more time cleaning out crap than a zookeeper at the Greater Incontinent Elephant of West Craptania exhibit. You can sell the seeds of this creeping infestation before it chokes your inventory into an early grave, but the prices on vendor trash range from worthless to insulting, so the better choice is usually to cleanse it all with fire. I've one last nit to pick with Rusty Hearts, although how much you'll care depends on what kind of gamer you happen to be. Are you a sophisticated gentleman of class and distinction who enjoys a fine story with his digital entertainment? Or are you a grunting Xbox Live subhuman who sprays insults and bile from his facehole between gurgling swigs of Monster energy drinks and hammering the keyboards with his fists until the bad guys fall over and all the Chivo bars go up? If you're the former, this complaint is for you. If you're the latter, kill yourself! The story of Rusty Hearts is not a complex one, but does come up just about every time you talk to an NPC. The story centers around two characters, the vampire and the witch, and they do all the talking with NPCs and everything else in the cutscenes. This would be fine if there weren't 4 characters. Should you choose to have the poor judgment to take someone who isn't undead or strangely attracted to broomsticks, then you might as well not exist. Click on an NPC, and those two jump out from behind the bushes to distract everyone with their drama while you slink off into a side alley and slit your wrists. Playing a game where your character isn't even involved in the plot just feels strange, and not in the good latex body massage way either. It's like you're playing someone else's game, and any moment they'll come back to boot you off the computer and take over. Either that, or like you're dragging around 2 useless guilty pricks who camp out at the dungeon gate while you pull your weight and theirs, and who then run back to the quest giver to turn everything in and trigger the cutscene while you're still wiping off the blood, causing you to miss the whole thing. I really don't think it too much to ask when you put a character into a game with a highly scripted story. You might want to actually give them a part in it, maybe a line or two to say. Otherwise, they might as well be NPCs, and I don't want to play a card-carrying member of the Fraternal Order of Useless Juice Bags. That said, let's see how Rusty Hearts plays. Here we are in Rusty Hearts. I'm playing Franz, the almost vampire. He does his thing with swords and axes and some dark vampire magics. You can see those along the bottom right there. Right now, we're short on quests, so let's go pick some up. Mayor Tracy, the drunken hobo who pretends to be mayor of the town. Well, he used to be mayor, until the drunken hobo part. Get a B rank in Wine Cellar 1F. There are various difficulty ranks in the game, and the better you do on a particular level, the higher your ranking will be. This also unlocks more challenging versions of every different level. In any case, that gives us some quests. Let's take a look at Burg here. That's not its real name, of course, but that's what it might as well be. As you can see, it's your nice 18th century hamlet filled with 18th century hamlet anime characters, such as that wonderful anime guard armor. In the real world, a suit of armor like that would take several years to make and would belong only to the finest of nobility. Here, gate guards. Of course, if you're really good, like us, you don't need armor whatsoever. Go figure. And over there, Tetsuo is getting blasted by the orbital ion cannon. No, I don't know either. Well, we got our quests and we got a place to go, so let's haul off into the dungeon. Our dungeon of the moment is this gate right here that leads into the castle. Their explanation for it is that they've sealed off the castle with magical wards to prevent anyone from getting in or out, so that way they can hunt down the villainous Vlad on their leisure. Let's go do that. Okay, cellar sewers. We have an object to find, and we have a wine cellar to beat. Let's go to the wine cellar. hard, and in we go. I've remapped my keys here to use standard WASD controls with the number pad controlling my attacks. And section cleared. I just picked up a bronze card. When you complete a section, you get to pick a card from a selection. The card gives you a bonus item. Bronze cards are worth better items than normal cards. Uh-oh. Aha! Secret door! And that sound means I've completed the quest. Archers are annoying and deserve everything coming to them. Why, hello, boss man. This is Gloves. Wanna guess why he's called Gloves? Let's get out of the way while he does whatever he's doing. The peril of being a melee character is that, well, you're in melee. And anything the bad guy does is going to come over on you. Those are the two characters you're not going to see. This is the werewolf, kind of a chill dude, and this is the gun bunny. You can see her guns and her bunnies. This gives us a costume piece that we can wear to change our appearance. Alright, to sum it up, Rusty Hearts is a game of highs and lows. When you get into a groove with your combos and your teammates, the game can be really good. If you're looking for deep storylines, a world of exploration, and a unique role-playing experience tailored to your character, Rusty Hearts falls through the floor, past the depths of hell, and craters straight into the very core of the earth. Mostly, Rusty Hearts just feels unfinished. There are huge holes in the story and the game design that need to be filled in, and a layer of polish would do the game a world of good. The arcade action is worth checking out, but there's very little here to hold your interest beyond smashing up some skeletons with the help of a couple of friends and enough cheap alcohol to wash the anime stains right off your soul.